Good morning, day 231, back at the park, and it is beautiful. You can see the sun up in the sky. The lake is like glass today, lush green. We've got a little bit of clouds, blue skies, gorgeous. So we're in Luke chapter 19 today, and I did something I don't usually do, which was did a little research and homework, because and I'm going to really focus on the first story. It's not a parable; it's a story in Luke 19. It's short, but it had a lot of detail in it that I felt like it was important to know what they were talking about, because I'm not from that part of the world. But I know when words are used specifically and descriptions, I mean, it's intentional, and it probably means a lot. So there was a specific tree that was mentioned called the sycamore fig tree. And we're told about Jesus is coming into Jericho. Let me just summarize the story. And we're going to call this today's practical lesson, wisdom nugget, reflection, whatever, clarity. And Jesus is coming into Jericho, and there is a crowd following him as normal. There is a rich tax collector, Zacchaeus, who is also among the crowd. And we're told that he is too short to see Jesus, but he really wants to see Jesus. So he goes and finds a sycamore fig tree and climbs it so he can see him. So, well, that's pretty specific. We get a name of a person, which we don't always get. We get some facts about him right up front, and then this detail about his height and the sycamore tree, not just any but a sycamore fig tree, like specific. Like, okay, what are they trying to tell us here? As the story goes on, Jesus notices Zacchaeus and says, "Hey, Zacchaeus, I'm coming to your house today." And everybody's upset. They're like, "No, he's like the worst of the worst. He's a sinner. You shouldn't be going to his house." They're not happy. But, Jesus knows best. And he goes to his house, and they're doing whatever they're doing. Zacchaeus is being a great host, and I imagine they're talking and whatnot. But we get a glimpse of into the conversation, and Zacchaeus makes a declaration. He says, "I am going to give half of my wealth to the poor, and if I've cheated anybody on their taxes, I will give them back 4 times as much." And Jesus says, "Salvation has come to this house today. You have shown that you are a son of Abraham." Again, Felicia's version. I don't have my Bible with me, so it's not, don't hold my feet to the fire if I've misquoted something. But this is the general scene. So, what's going on here? And why did I pick the word clarity? Okay, so I've learned a lot about the sycamore fig tree this morning. It grows very tall. It does have lower branches, a big wide canopy, so it probably would have been easy for a shorter man to climb up. But the fact that we're told that he's short, and even though he's rich, he's also maybe humble. He is honest. Like, he knows he's short. He's not trying to pretend otherwise. He's not letting his status in the community or his wealth deceive him of who he is. He really wants to see Jesus, but he can't see him. So he climbs up into the fig tree. And because of this story, now the fig tree, at least in that part of the world, symbolizes clarity. It allowed Zacchaeus literally to see what he could not see before, where he was. And as we will also see, that he demonstrated clarity and understanding of what Jesus was asking of people. And this comes on the tail of yesterday, chapter 18, when we're told the rich man, he was told to give away all of his possessions, and he was sad. He did not want to do that. So here we have a very rich man who gets it. He's like, I will give it away. And not only that, the specifics of, to those I've cheated, I will give 4 times as much. And an interesting fact about the fig tree is, the sycamore fig tree, is that it has the ability to produce fruit 4 times a year. I don't think that's accidental that we learn this. And the tree itself is also known, while it symbolizes clarity because of this story, it also symbolizes regeneration. And the bark of the tree even regenerates on a regular basis. So I thought it was really interesting facts. Like when you see things like that, that's when I think, even as a newbie, like rookie reader, like I could have probably gotten to some of this just with the fact of Zacchaeus climbing up into the tree. I might have gotten that on my own, that he needed to get to a higher spot to see clearly. I might have gotten there, but I wouldn't have gotten the significance of the number 4 in that, the 4 times as much, and the link of that even to the fig tree. So very, very interesting. And in chapter 18, we also have a reference to, or was that chapter 17? Anyway, very recently in Luke, there is another reference to Abraham, when the rich man is in maybe purgatory. We're just told that it's hot and there's flames, and the Lazarus had gone to be held and cared for by Abraham. And the rich man is, there's something that's uncrossable between them. And the rich man is like, please, Abraham, come and help me too. And he's like, sorry, can't. So the reference to Abraham again was really interesting in this short story, because it shows that Zacchaeus was a descendant of Abraham, but he wasn't really living up to his end of what that meant, and his faith and his roots, by sinning to such a serious level as a tax collector and taking money, he was maybe in jeopardy of falling out of favor and being recognized as a true son of Abraham, because he wasn't clearly demonstrating that he understood, what was expected of being considered son of Abraham. But then he does this about face, this repentance, and then clearly demonstrates his understanding now. And then we get another little nugget. What was lost is now found. So this is exactly why Jesus came, was to find the lost sheep of Israel. And we also learned that the good news was that he let Gentiles, all of us, everybody, into this, into heaven, and for a chance for everybody on earth to be saved. But the initial mission and the main mission was to save the lost sheep of Israel. And Zacchaeus is one of those. And so that specific reference. So there's a lot of clarity that we can get when we're looking for it. And that's why these stories, when you read them just on the surface, and if you don't dig into the meanings and the hidden meanings and reading between the lines and all of that, you're going to miss some important lessons. And clarity, you know, when we are looking through, you know, us modern day people, when we're driving our cars, that's probably a good example. And when our windshields get a little foggy, sometimes we don't even know it because we can still see, but we can't see quite as clearly. And then we clean the windshield and we're like, oh, I didn't realize I was not seeing clearly. We kind of adjust our sight and our, you know, we see well enough. That can even happen, you know, I have to wear readers now. And sometimes if I, you know, really spend some time, I can read without those glasses. But it sure is a lot easier when I just put on the glasses, take the time, and keep the right tool with me so to help me see clearly. And clarity sometimes takes some effort. And that's what we see here with Zacchaeus, sorry. He went through some effort. He was willing to go through some effort. He wanted to see Jesus, not just a little bit, but he also, he wanted a clear view. So he overcame maybe any pride that he had or any maybe fear of judgment of doing this, even as his position. And that's the other, like, ego. When we put ourselves in that same situation, would we be as eager to get our ego out of the way? Because you kind of, when you do things like what Zacchaeus did, you make a spectacle of yourself. People will notice that you're going out of your way to do something like this. That's how he got Jesus' attention. It's like, wow, there's a person in the tree looking at me. Like, that was not, this was something that was out of the ordinary in this situation. Otherwise, we would have been told about multiple people in the trees. No, it was one person, and one prominent person who also, I'm guessing likely, everybody else knew he was short too. But he was like, I don't care about any of that. I want to see Jesus. He had clarity of what was important, and he clearly understood that he was not all that, and started to get his priorities in the right place, and then had clarity around what Jesus was asking, and demonstrated willingness, which the rich man in the previous story, he went away sad. He was not willing. I'm willing to follow all these other rules, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to give away my money. That's who I am. And Zacchaeus knew that's not who I am. I've remembered. I found myself. I found who I really am. And I'm willing. That's more important to me than holding on to this money. You can have it. As a matter of fact, I'll give 4 times as much, which is what this sycamore fig tree also represents. It gives 4 times the fruit of normal fig trees. Oh boy, so cool. Like, so cool. All of these little details that are, confirming each other and reaffirming in these stories, and how they're even related to other stories back here and over there, and the reference to Abraham. So, anyway, wipe off your foggy, whatever you're seeking clarity on. Metaphorically, do what you need to do to get clarity. Climb up in the tree. Get your ego out of the way. Go learn something. Do what it takes. And Jesus will meet you there. That's the other, background story that we're getting here. Jesus sees people that are ready to receive the truth, are ready for clarity, and he will give it. Gladly. Like, yes, salvation is upon not just Zacchaeus, but the house. Everybody who knows Zacchaeus or lives with Zacchaeus gets the benefit of Zacchaeus's clarity as well. That's pretty big. That's good. That's some good news. That Zacchaeus got his identity in the right order. Anyway, I'm getting a little clearer every day, I feel like. Have a great day. Do what it takes to get some clarity, which often involves getting the ego out of the way. All right. Bye. Have a great day. Luke 19. Bye.